Lovely run this morning, guys. Out here in the Lancashire Moors with the boys. Get up there, Dillian Whyte. I'm going to knock you out, sucker. You're getting it, you dosser. Lovely run this morning, guys. Out here in the Lancashire.
The excuses have started, haven't they? Oh my gosh. It's embarrassing, man. This boxing game's getting so embarrassing, man. Since when did fans start behaving like accountants and business people? What happened to boxing, man? Why are these fans behaving like accountants and businessmen for fights that they're not going to earn any money from? I'm not going to be doing any shouting this morning. By the way, Riku's going to be coming on at 4 o'clock. 4:15. So for those of you who like Riku, we got Riku coming in with the Riku report at 4 o'clock. All I've seen this morning is nothing but excuses from Dillian Whyte fans. And you know what? I'm not here to be rude to anybody. I'm not here to call anybody out. I'm just going to give my opinion in a quick live, and I want to get this on the record. Dillian Whyte has still not acknowledged that his fight with Tyson Fury is on. That concerns me. That concerns me. We haven't heard a word from Dillian Whyte, and we haven't heard a word from Eddie Hearn. You know what I've been seeing all over the internet this morning? Excuses. You know what I've been seeing? But what about the arbitration? What about the arbitration? The arbitration's still going on. And then if Dillian gets a bigger split from the arbitration, then that means that this purse bid doesn't count. Why are boxing fans crying about purse bids? I just want to see the fight. I don't care if Fury has to fight on DAZN or if White has to fight on BT. Do you know what I'm seeing this morning? Oh, but what about the arbitrator? The arbitration's still going on. And then if the arbitrator rules that Dillian gets more money, then maybe this purse bid doesn't count. And these people call themselves fans of boxing. For the last 12 months, you've been saying that Tyson Fury is a coward and he's scared and he's ducking Dillian Whyte. That's what you've been saying. I haven't been saying that because I'm very, very careful to never call fighting men cowards. I would never call a fighting man a coward because I've trained in a gym very, very briefly alongside individuals who have fought in IBF world title eliminators. I've trained in the same gym as individuals who have been Commonwealth champions and fought for British titles. So I've seen and I've shared the gym with professionals who have trained for some of the biggest fights of their career. So I would never turn around and call another man a coward. But there's certain individuals who have literally built an entire online persona around ducking, haven't they? He's ducking. He's a fraud. He's a coward. He's scared. That's what you've said. I've never said that. You've said that. You said that for the last year to two that Tyson Fury is afraid of Dillian Whyte and is looking for a way out. Does it look like Tyson Fury's looking for a way out to you? He's been sending Instagram posts and tweets left, right, and center since this fight's been announced. This is Tyson Fury this morning going running with Joseph Parker and John Fury. Tyson Fury's in the middle of camp for this fight. Tyson Fury cannot wait for this fight. No acknowledgement from Dillian Whyte and nothing but excuses from Dillian Whyte fans. Where's the money? Where's the proof of funds? Have you guys heard this one yet? They're now asking, oh, but where's the money? Why do boxing fans care where the money? When do we get to this stage? Do you want the fight or not? Do you want to see the fight or not? What about proof of funds? Where did Frank get the money from? Where's the money really coming from? Make up your mind. One minute you're saying Fury's afraid and scared and doesn't want to fight Dillian Whyte, and now you're coming up with every fucking excuse in the book. Proof of funds. Wait, how's Frank going to prove he has the money? Don't worry about where the money's coming from. You're supposed to be a boxing fan. Do you know one thing I've noticed about Dillian Whyte fans as well this morning? None of them will talk about the actual fight. Have you noticed that? Not one of them will actually talk about the fight. We had Daryl on here last night. Shout out to Daryl. We had Daryl on here for an hour and a half. And we were talking about the fight. We were talking about the politics as well, but we were talking about the fight. Why won't these Dillian Whyte fans talk about the fight? Have you ever noticed that? They're willing to talk about everything other than the actual fight. They want to talk about proof of funds. They want to talk about where the money's coming from. They want to talk about the purse bid. They want to talk about arbitration. They want to talk about the WBC. They want to talk about conspiracies. They want to talk about everything other than the actual boxing fight. Now, part of that is because some of these individuals don't actually know anything about boxing, so there'd be nothing to talk about. But part of that would also be, do they really want this fight? See, when you make abusive videos about professional fighters, right? When you make abusive content about other people, I'm very, very careful about what I say about other people on this channel, because I try to treat people the way I'd like to be treated. Do you know, the most ironic thing is this, right? I try to treat people the way I'd like to be treated. So I'm very careful not to make abusive videos about other people or call people cowards or make unsubstantiated allegations against other. These guys don't care. These guys don't care. They have no problem, do they, making abusive videos? You're a coward. You don't want it. You're this, you're that. And when the time comes for the fight, when the time comes now where they're going to have to put themselves on the line, all of a sudden now, the energy changes, doesn't it? What happened to Eddie Hearn's going to win the purse bid? Eddie Hearn's going to put in a massive big bid of 50 million and win the purse bid. What happened to that? What happened to that? Eddie Hearn's going to make a massive big purse bid. Oh, you was early this week, you was all fucking, you couldn't wait for the purse bid. They don't, what? Am I lying in the comment section, guys? Did these individuals not say, Frank and Bob don't want it to go to purse bid because Eddie's going to blow them out of the water? Isn't that what was said? Frank and Bob don't want the purse bid because Eddie Hearn was going to blow them out of the water and they had no chance to win it. Now, all of a sudden, the excuses are coming out, aren't they? Now that Frank's won the purse bid, it's the excuse. What were they saying? They were saying Fury. What were they saying? They were saying Eddie Hearn was going to win the purse bid and Tyson Fury was going to vacate. Am I lying? Isn't that what was said? Do you know what I heard someone say this morning? Do you know what I heard? I'm not even joking. I heard a Dillian Whyte fan legitimately say this morning. I heard a Dillian Whyte fan say, but listen, if the arbitrator rules that Dillian should get 30 or 40%, then that means, yeah, that maybe Frank Warren doesn't have enough money for the fight and then maybe Fury will vacate. How can you go on the internet with a straight face and call professional fighters cowards, right? You're calling professional fighters cowards and duckers, and you're making money out of it, right? How can you call professional fighting men cowards with a straight face? And then 20 seconds later, you're turning around and advocating or hoping that the fight's not going to happen. You're hoping that Tyson Fury is going to vacate because the arbitrator is going to rule that Dillian Whyte gets 35 or 40% and that Frank Warren can't afford the fight. Do these people sound like boxing fans to you? I keep telling you the same story. These people can't box, don't know how to put gloves on, and have never been in a gym. But they keep telling you that they're boxing fans and that I'm the problem. I'm not the one making abusive videos about other fighters. So it's time now to put up or shut up. Do you want to see this fight or do you not? Stop making excuses about purse bids. In life, there are winners and there are losers. Frank Warren loses a lot. Eddie Hearn wins most of the time. Sometimes Eddie Hearn wins. So sometimes Frank Warren wins. Sometimes Eddie Hearn loses. Sometimes our favourite fighters win. And sometimes our favourite fighters lose. That's boxing. You win some, you lose some. Not only is that boxing, but that's life. So what are you afraid of? Why are you so keen not to talk about this fight, the actual fight? I'm not talking about arbitration. Why are you so keen for this fight not to happen? Do you know, can I just reiterate something if you guys don't mind? You know, most fighters would jump at the opportunity to make $8 million to fight for the WBC Lineal and Ring Magazine champions. In boxing right now, we have a lot of WBO champions, right? We have a lot of IBF champions. We have a lot of IBO champions, right? We have a lot of belt holders in boxing. If Dillian Whyte fought and beat Tyson Fury for $8 million on BT Sport, Dillian Whyte wouldn't be a belt holder. Dillian Whyte would go down in history. He would be the man. He'd be the lineal champion. He would go from Lennox Lewis to Vladimir Klitschko to Tyson Fury to Dillian Whyte. This is about more than just a flipping WBA. Do you know how many WBA belts there are right now in boxing? Everybody's got a WBA belt. There are about 15 WBA champions right now. So why are you so keen for the fight not to happen? Why is it always an excuse? Have you noticed? It's literally always an excuse, isn't it? It's literally always an excuse. Oh, he's not getting enough of a split. Let it go to purse bids. Oh, then he loses the purse bid. Oh, but where's Frank getting the money from? We need to see proof of funds. We need to see proof that, Frank's actually got the money. Oh, it's not really Frank's money. It's coming from Top Rank. Oh, it's not really Top Rank's money. It's coming from Daniel Kinahan. Why do you care? There's the new one. What's the new one now? The new one is this one. Oh, but the arbitration's still going on. So actually, this isn't really resolved. So why were you talking about purse bids then? Can you see? It's just kicking the can down the road and kicking the can down. There is always an excuse with these people. Do you remember what I said on the last show about reality kicking in? Can you guys remember what I said about reality kicking in? That's what's happening right now. Reality is beginning to sink in. And certain people are beginning to look at the abusive content that they've been releasing about other fighters over the last year or two. And they're starting to panic. They're starting to panic. They're starting to think, do you remember when I called that guy a coward? Do you remember when I made a video calling that guy a ducker? Do you remember when I made all those abusive videos of the fighters? Oh, do you know what? That might be about to come and bite me on the arse. And instead of just taking it like a man and taking your L like a man, we've all got to take losses. I take losses. Nobody here takes more losses than me. Nobody takes more losses than me. Every day I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is take an L. You win some, you lose some, right? So step up and take your L. Don't try and worm out of it. and make excuses about arbitration, hoping the arbitrator is going to bail you out. Is that what you're hoping for? You're hoping the arbitrator is going to bail you out. That doesn't sound like a boxing fan to me. Real boxing fans right now would be absolutely ecstatic. Look at Anthony Joshua. He's commented. Anthony Joshua reacts to Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte purse bids. Even though Dillian Whyte is an enemy of mine, I'm low-key happy for him. Absolutely. I'm happy for Dillian. It's a great deal for Dillian. He's going to get $8 million to fight for the Ring Magazine, WBC and Lineal Championships and go down in history. In one of the biggest British fighters of all time. Why would you be hoping for the arbitrators to come in and bail Dillian out? Why? Why would you be hoping for the arbitrators to come in and bail Dillian out? Why would you be hoping for Frank Warren not to have proof of funds? I know why. I know why. Because reality's sinking in now, isn't it? Reality's sinking in. Tyson Fury never ducked Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte is not afraid of Tyson Fury. These are professional fighters. And if you spend any length of time around professional fighters and actually train with them, then you probably understand a little bit about the mentality of a fighter. Because the mentality of, I am not a fighter, by the way. The mentality of a fighter is very different to the regular mentality that a regular civilian like me would have. They think in a different way to ways like people like me and you think. You should know that. Stop making excuses. Marco says, in the business world, we take more losses than anyone. I have had more companies liquidated than Whyte has had fights. There you go. These guys are desperate not to take the loss, aren't they? And they're trying to figure ways out. Where is Dillian Whyte right now? And why is Dillian Whyte not commenting on the biggest career payday of his life? Why is it? Why is Dillian Whyte not talking about the biggest career payday of his career? He's got what he's wanted, has he not? Has he not got what he wanted? What did he register his last purses? Did he register his last purses 300k? Okay. Some people would say, right, Ultra, he got a lot more than that under the table or whatever. Fine, no problem. But Dillian Whyte is getting significantly the highest payday of his career. So right now, I'd be expecting Dillian Whyte to be all over Instagram, right? And all over social media saying, Tyson Fury, I'm knocking you out, right? You heard what Eddie Hearn said, right, on IFL TV. What did Eddie Hearn say last week and 2 days ago on IFL TV? 2 days ago on IFL TV, did Eddie Hearn not say these exact words? Eddie Hearn said, Dillian Whyte will knock out Tyson Fury for this. Did he not say that yes or no in the comment section to IFL TV 2 days ago? Did Eddie Hearn not tell Gugan Cassius, and I'll tell you something, Dillian Whyte is going to knock out Tyson Fury for this? Did he not say that? So, it's time now, isn't it? Now it's time. And let me tell you something. If Dillian Whyte wins the fight, and it was this video right here, in this video right here from IFL TV, Eddie Hearn turned around and said, as quoted as saying, and you know what, for this, Dillian Whyte's going to knock out Tyson Fury. Well, there you go. So Eddie Hearn's confident. Eddie Hearn thinks Dillian Whyte's going to knock Tyson Fury out. Why aren't you confident? Why aren't you confident? Eddie Hearn's confident. He wasn't confident enough to overbid for your man Dillian Whyte, though, was he? Ironically, he's convinced Dillian Whyte's going to knock out Tyson Fury, but he wasn't overconfident to overbid for your man, was he? But you know how Eddie Hearn rolls. I'll go through all your comments in a sec. John Smith says, Ultra, wait until Monday for Dillian. Dillian's a fighting man. I have never, ever, and never, ever will call Dillian Whyte a coward or say Dillian Whyte is scared. That will never come out of my mouth. I've been around. It's not going to happen. But let me tell you something right now. I don't believe this fight is on. Until I hear Dillian Whyte confirm it, I do not believe this fight is on. I do not believe this fight is on until I hear Dillian Whyte. If Dillian Whyte comes out and says, this fight's on, Tyson, I will see you in the ring, I'm going to knock you out, that's when I believe this fight is on. But until I hear it come from Dillian Whyte himself, I don't believe this fight is on. Because it's now coming up to 18 hours since this fight was announced. Tyson Fury has made a statement. Frank Warren's made a statement. The only person who hasn't made a statement is Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte. And I'm really hoping that the excuses are going to end this week, yeah? From both the fans and everybody involved. I really now think we're going to have an end to the excuses. I really hope now we're going to have an end to the arbitration. Let's get this fight on April the 23rd. You're talking about the road to undisputed, so let's get it on. Shall I tell you what I have? What my worst fear is about this? I'll show it to you. My worst fear is that you're going to get something like this. This is what I'm concerned about. And I'm probably talking absolute rubbish, right? But this is what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that somehow, some way, you might see Dillian Whyte versus Usyk or Dillian Whyte versus Anthony Joshua next. That's my concern. That's my worst fear for this. You know why I say that? I say that because Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, do not want Anthony Joshua to get in the ring with Alexander Usyk next, right? They would like Anthony Joshua to have a tune-up fight with his new trainer. Eddie Hearn has pretty much said as much. That's why he's angry at Tyson Fury for turning down the Usyk fight. They don't want Anthony Joshua jumping straight into the rematch with Alexander Usyk without having a tune-up fight. By the way, have you heard? Bob Arum said yesterday that fight is now being earmarked for June. That's what they're saying. Bob Arum thinks Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk, if it happens, it's going to happen in June. Eddie Hearn said he activated the rematch clause back in October. October. Can you see the problem here? Eddie Hearn says rematch clause activated in October. Fight may happen in June. Does it sound to you like Eddie Hearn and Matchroom really want Anthony Joshua to jump in the ring with Alexander Usyk next? So what if this happened? What if somebody goes to Dillian Whyte and says, Dillian, or what if somebody goes to Alexander Usyk and says, listen, Alexander, why don't you take a fight with Dillian Whyte on pay-per-view and make a ton of money, and we'll guarantee you a shot at AJ afterwards? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's impossible or not? What if that happens? What if Dillian Whyte was given to Alexander Usyk, which would then buy time for Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua was guaranteed a shot at the winner? I think a lot of people would be very, very happy with that outcome. I'm just guessing, by the way. No inside information. I'm just purely guessing. I'm talking about worst case scenario. That's what I'm concerned about. Because I know that Matchroom do not want Anthony Joshua to go straight in with Usyk again. So my concern is that Dillian will be offered to Usyk and AJ will be guaranteed the winner. That means Usyk gets his fight. That means Dillian Whyte makes some money, and he gets a guaranteed shot or a payday. I could be completely wrong. Either way, that's not what I want to happen. What I want to happen now, right, is after a year and a year and a half of hearing individuals make abusive videos about other fighters and calling them cowards, which is the lowest thing that you can call a fighter. That's the lowest thing that you can call a professional fighter, isn't it? It doesn't get any lower, does it? That's the lowest of the low. To call a professional fighter a coward while you sit on the couch uploading videos to social media. You question the manhood of people who put on hand wraps and literally risk their lives in the ring. It's the lowest of the low. So you've been doing that now for a year. So now what I'd like to see is the fight. I'd like to see the outcome. I'd like to see who's right and who's wrong. And if Dillian Whyte beats Tyson Fury, I will give Dillian Whyte all the credit in the world, because anything can happen in the sport of boxing. But as a boxing fan, I would like to see the matchup. They say styles make fights, right? I'd like to see the fight. Wouldn't you? Doesn't sound like it to me. But what about the arbitration? It's not finished yet. There's always a roadblock, isn't there? There's always some roadblock. What do you guys think? Do you think this is the last we've heard of this saga? I honestly believe there are going to be more roadblocks and more twists and turns. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. I could be wrong on that. But I think we're going to see more drama and more twists and turns. That's my opinion. But what I'd like to see is a bit of excitement from the fan base. I'd like to see a bit of excitement from Dillian Whyte fans. This is it now. Your man has the chance to prove himself, right? Your man has the chance to prove that everything you've been saying in the last year and a half is correct, isn't it? Everything you've been saying over the last year and a half about Fury's a coward and he's ducking Dillian Whyte and he's looking for a way out of the fight, right? I thought you'd be absolutely over the moon that this fight is now finally on, right? Wouldn't think that you'd be still yapping on about flipping arbitration and who's got money and who doesn't have money. But it's squeaky bum time now, isn't it? Squeak, 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 squeak. Squeaky bum time now. Squeaky bum time now. Squeaky bum time now, isn't it? That's what happens when you call people cowards, isn't it? That's what happens when you make a bunch of videos calling people cowards, isn't it? What do you guys think? I'll end up with your comments. What do you guys think? Do you think this fight is on? For me, as it stands right now, I don't believe this fight is on until I hear from Dillian Whyte. As soon as I hear from Dillian Whyte, then this fight is on. Until I hear from Dillian Whyte, I don't believe this fight is on. Until I hear from Dillian, I don't believe this fight is on. I want to hear it from Dillian himself. That's all I want to hear. Don't want to hear it from Eddie Hearn. Don't want to hear it from Anthony Joshua. I want to hear it from Dillian himself. And when Dillian himself says it, what I want to hear after that is I want to hear his fans get excited about the fight and start talking about the fight. We're boxing fans, aren't we? We're boxing fans. We're not paying to see arbitration, right? We're not paying to see purse bids. We're not paying to see... Do you know what? What really gets me? It's like some of these people enjoy the purse bids. They enjoy the IFL TV interviews more than the actual fighting. Can you understand what I'm saying here? It's like some of these individuals look forward more to the arbitration, the purse bids, and the politics more than the actual fighting. Wouldn't they? It is, isn't it? It's like they enjoy, it's like they get, am I wrong? They got more excited for the purse bid than they are for the actual fight. Then right now, they're not excited about this fight at all. They're trying to talk it down. They're not excited about this fight at all. All they're talking about is, what if it doesn't happen? What if Frank Warren can't afford it? What if the arbitrator does this? It's like they enjoy all the he said, he said, she said. They enjoy all the legal action. They enjoy that more than two fighters getting in the ring. That's not a boxing fan, is it? Is that a boxing fan? When you're that worried about which network's going to show the fight? Do you know the other thing I've heard is this one as well? Oh, but it's all part of a grand plan from Eddie. It's all part of a big plan from Eddie to make Frank Warren overbid for the fight. And that way Frank Warren can't afford it. It's all part of a grand plan from Eddie. The amount of cope is staggering. Why would you think that? What kind of normal, living, breathing mammal thinks that? You've been calling for a fight for 2 years. The fight happens, and the first thing you start talking about is that stuff. No talking about the clash of styles. No talking about. Listen, let me end on this. I'll end on this and then I'll go through your comments. I've been saying this a million times. How many times have I said this to you guys? Have you ever noticed that these Dillian Whyte fans can never ever tell you how exactly Dillian Whyte is going to win this fight? Have you ever noticed that? When you ask them to give you a proper breakdown, right? Break me down now. How's Dillian Whyte going to get past Fury's jab? Show me, what have you seen in Dillian Whyte's last fights that make you think he's the favourite to Tyson Fury? Why are you so confident that Dillian Whyte... Remember, I'm not saying Dillian Whyte cannot win. What I'm saying is, when you ask these individuals, what is it that makes you think Dillian Whyte's the favourite? What is it that makes you so certain Dillian Whyte's going to knock out Fury? Explain to me technically. Show me some video footage of Dillian Whyte. Show me clips of a Dillian Whyte fight. Show me clips of his footwork. Show me clips of his punch selection. Show me anything to back up your assertion that Dillian Whyte is the favourite to beat Tyson Fury. And for the last 2 years, do you know what it's been? Ultra Tech, but look at his resume. Oh, but Ultra Tech, Fury only fought well, but Ultra Tech, look at their last 10 opponents. But Ultra Tech, look at the purse bids. But Ultra Tech. They want to talk about anything other than the actual boxing fight. Even after the fight's been and even after the purse bids, they got what they wanted. They wanted the purse bids, right? Now the purse bids are done. And they still don't want to talk about this fight. They want to talk about everything other than this fight. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Does that really sound like a bunch of people that really believe that he's the favourite to win? Really? Or does it sound like a bunch of people who are getting the excuses ready? What do you think? What does it sound like? Does it sound like a bunch of individuals who really believe that Dillian Whyte is the favourite to win? Does it sound like a bunch of people who are getting the excuses in nice and early? Oh, it's a Frank Warren show. Poor Dillian. It's a Frank Warren show. It's a Frank Warren show. You hear this stuff? It's a Frank Warren show. Oh, I'm not confident for Dillian now because it's a Frank Warren show. Do you know how embarrassing it is? It's embarrassing. Marco, if you want to come on and say your piece, Marco, you're welcome to come on. I'll drop you a link if you want to say your piece. Let's go through some comments. 100 people in the chat. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Only 30 likes. That's pretty disrespectful. If we could get those likes up, I would very much appreciate it. Riku will be here at 4 p.m. to give. I already know what Riku's going to say, roughly. But you'll be hearing from Riku. I haven't been shouting in this video. You know the usual excuse. Oh, Ultra, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't like how you're saying it, Ultra, because you're always swearing and you're always shouting. Well, I'm not shouting today. Shall I whisper it for you? If I whisper it for you, would it make you feel better? If I whisper it for you, would it make you feel a little bit better about Dillian Whyte's chances? What are the excuses today? What are your excuses this time? Seems to me like you're running out of excuses. Momo says a cheeky few million for Dillian's pension because this is probably it. I don't believe this fight's on. I haven't heard anything from Dillian Whyte. I've heard plenty from Tyson Fury. For those of you who are just joining, one sec. Let me just reload this screen. Oh dear, StreamYard's messing up again. Let's try that again. For those of you who are just joining, I'll quickly play it one more time and then we'll go through your questions. Does this look like a man? They keep telling me that this man's afraid of Dillian Whyte. That's what they told me. They've been telling me for the last 2 years that this man's a coward and he's afraid. Can I ask you a question? Does this look like a man who's afraid to fight Dillian Whyte on April 23rd in Cardiff in front of 70,000 people? Does this look like the demeanour of a man who is scared and looking for a way out?
Lovely run this morning, guys. Out here in the Lancashire Moors with the boys. Get up there, Dillian Whyte. I'm going to knock you out, sucker. You're getting it, you dosser. Lovely.
Does that sound to you like a man who's scared and looking for a way out? It doesn't sound like it to me, to be honest. Crazy D3 says, do they honestly expect Whyte can outbox Fury over 12 rounds? Well, listen, we haven't even got to that stage. They won't even talk about the fight. They won't. They're literally sitting there hoping that this fight's not going to happen. Or that it's going to happen on a matchroom card. Because these guys actually believe, this is what you call magic thinking. Listen, I suffer from anxiety, so I know all about magic thinking. Let me show you the literal mentality of these individuals. Google magic thinking. Look, magic thinking or superstitious thinking is the belief that unrelated events are casually connected despite the absence of any plausible casual link between them. These dudes are the literal epitome of magic thinking. They literally believe that if Eddie Hearn is sitting at the main table instead of Frank Warren, and they literally believe that if it's the zone cameras filming the fight instead of BT cameras, that somehow makes Dillian Whyte the favourite to win. That's how these individuals literally think. That is how these individuals literally think. Bump of K says they were desperate for Fury to vacate. Of course they were. Of course they desperate. Even today, Bump of K. I read this. Well, maybe somebody literally said this morning, literally said that if the arbitrator increases the purse bid, if the arbitrator increases the split and Frank Warren can't afford the fight, then Fury will vacate. That's what they're hoping for. They don't want this fight. That's what they were hoping for. That's why they wanted DAZN to win the purse bid. Not because they wanted flipping, not because they wanted to see the fight. They were hoping DAZN would win the purse bid and Fury would vacate, so that their man could go and fight Otto Weiland or somebody else for a WBC title. And then they want to do #justice for Dillian. That's what they really want. Because we can see through them. We know exactly what's going on. They don't want the fight. They want Fury stripped so Whyte can get a WBC title. And then what they want after that is feed Dillian Whyte to Anthony Joshua so they can call Anthony Joshua undisputed. They're not Dillian Whyte fans, man. They're not Dillian Whyte fans. Come on. Dave Lane says, fellas talking about arbitration like they are lawyers when they work the night shift in Tesco. What is going on? Boxing fans are acting like accountants and lawyers, literally doing they're literally accounting for Frank Warren. Don't worry about Frank Warren or where Frank's getting the money from. Bump of K says, Ultra, a lot of boxing fans have mental issues. I'm certain of this. John Smith says, Coogan IFL is completely radio silent since Warren won. Well, the reason why IFL is silent is because they'll be trying to get hold of Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn for comment. That's why they're silent. Right now, they'll be trying to get hold of Dillian. There's something going on. What do you guys think, yes or no? Let me give you the poll. Let me put a poll in. Is there another twist in the Fury versus Whyte saga? I absolutely believe so. There's the poll. Pretty bad poll, but there's the poll. So I'm just trying to go through some more of your comments. Oh, good. Oh, Jonathan Best says Joyce is waiting in line. Warren and Aaron would get the WBO to block Usyk Whyte, in my opinion. Good point. Marco says certain people are doing a lot of narrative building this morning. James Lord doesn't think the fight's happening. Nah, not happening 100%. Whyte wants all the money. Fury got his money. Whyte has the excuse. I don't want to hear he deserves his shot again. Listen, I will never call Dillian Whyte a coward or a ducker, ever. But I'll be honest. If Dillian Whyte does not accept the results of this purse bid, and this carries on anymore, and if this carries on any further, right? If we are still talking about lawyers and accountants in the next 24 hours, I wouldn't want to be Dillian Whyte's social media manager. Let's put it that way. It's unthinkable, isn't it? It's literally unthinkable. I think that's what's going to happen. I genuinely think, listen, maybe it's me. And listen, I'm really hoping that Dillian's going to come out and say, look, F Frank Warren, F Queensbury, I'm going to go on your show. I believe in myself. Tyson Fury was ducking me all along. I'm going to take this fight. I'm going to knock Fury out, and I'm going to prove that I'm the better man out of the two. That's what boxing's all about. What boxing isn't about is, I hope the arbitrators rule in favour of Dillian. That way this purse bid gets invalidated. That's not boxing, yeah? That's not boxing, you see. Dapper says, Dillian priced himself out of an AJ rematch. Said 4 million wasn't enough. So Ruiz Jr. stepped in instead. And we all know what happened then. Let me say something as well. Do you know, remember this? For those who think I'm crazy. Who remembers this? Let me just get this up. 1 second. I hope it's not going to be, I really, really hope it's not going to be something like this. Who remembers this? Let's drag it onto the screen. Who remembers this? Back in 2018. Dillian Whyte versus Kubrat Pulev. Purse bid won by Epic Sports and Entertainment. Thursday's bid for the IBF heavyweight title eliminator between Dillian Whyte and Kubrat Pulev was won by Epic Sports Entertainment. This is kind of a surprise that Whyte's promoter, Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Sports, would be outbid by another promotional company because he's got Sky Sports behind him. Look at this, look. It's quite prophetic, isn't it? If Whyte was looking for a reason to pull out of the Pulev fight, he now officially has a reason to. Whyte needs to make his mind up whether he's willing to fight Pulev in Bulgaria. If not, he can pull out of the fight and go in the direction of the World Boxing Council eliminator that was ordered between him and Luis Ortiz. I just hope we're not going to get a repeat of this kind of situation, you know? That's all I'm hoping. That's all I'm saying. I'm not calling Dillian Whyte a coward. The man would knock me unconscious. If I saw Dillian Whyte coming at me down the road right now, I'm calling the police and running. Straight up. I'm doing an O.J. Simpson. You see me get in my pickup truck and start steaming down the highway. I'm running. I wouldn't say any of this to Dillian's face because the man's an absolute madman. But I'm not the one calling Dillian a coward. I'm not the one making videos calling other fighters duckers and cowards. So we'll leave it there. 4 o'clock. Riku will be here, I believe. Riku will give his opinion. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I don't believe there's any... I honestly believe that I am the first and only channel right now. And you know what it is? I believe I was the first person or one of the first people on social media, period, to turn around and say, I'm not convinced this fight's happening, you know? And you know what I'm seeing now? I'm seeing more and more accounts on social media saying the same thing. I said it literally after the purse bid. Do you remember, guys, last night? In fact, I think Sharon was probably the first one to say it, actually, before me. Sharon said, this fight's not going to happen. I said, Sharon, are you mad? Dillian's got to turn up. It's a career high payday. And Sharon was like, he's not going to fight. He's not going to turn up to fight. He's not going to fight. I don't think Dillian's scared of Tyson Fury. His fan base, that's a different story. Last comment, 10-8 round. Dillian has a built-in excuse to get out of this fight. He'll fake an injury and take some time off. Hearn to try and park Fury up, and he'll promise Whyte the cracker AJ should he beat Usyk, even though he won't. Sad Ken says, all Whyte wants is pay-per-view. All Whyte wants is pay-per-view against opposition where he is the favourite. I don't think he takes the Fury fight. Davis and Dave says, I think it's on, but it wouldn't surprise me if you called it. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. The last thing I'm saying is this, right? This isn't about calling Dillian a coward or a ducker. This is about talking to Dillian Whyte fans. And this is my last word, yeah? Dillian Whyte fans, you know who you are, right? You know what you've been saying for the last 2 years. You know you've been making abusive videos about other people and making money out of it, right? So now it's time to put up and shut up. Do you want the fight or do you not want the fight? If you want the fight, talk about the fight. Stop making excuses. Stop getting the excuses ready. Stop hoping for arbitration. Stop hoping for purse bids. Stop getting the excuses in. If the fight's on, let's talk about the fight. That's all I'm saying. Peace out.